Welcome, everybody. Shalom. And right here, we are filming the very first thing in the brand new studio. And very excited about this. Hope all of you are doing wonderfully. And it takes a little bit of getting used to. Takes a little bit of getting used to with a new format, new layout, and we still got some more stuff to do in here and all that good stuff. For instance, we're going to be painting these walls a nice burgundy. So we'll be doing that very soon. Oh. And Brian says, studio looks good. Well, thank you there, brother. Thank you. That's Mr. Brian Nelms there. And my cat has a little bit more free reign through here, so she ended up stepping on my Zoom G11, changing my patch on there. That's what I'm using today, is the Zoom G11, and I love that thing, I'm telling you. It's going to take me a little while to get used to looking at the camera up there. But, it's something that'll come in time. New setup, and so it's new stuff to learn and all that good stuff. But, let me know what you guys think of the new studio and all that good stuff. And one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A. If you want to learn about the Ani Jewish faith. We talked about that. One of the things that's nice about this new studio is not only do I have more room in here, but also at the same time, I also have my books nearby. I have one of the bookshelves over here. I got another one right over there. So everything is right in my grasp. I'm not, having stuff spread out all over the place whenever it is I'm doing these things. And so, yeah. Brian says that Isabella's my roadie. Yep. She was not too happy. As a matter of fact, when I was setting all this up, she is afraid of everything. She is absolutely afraid of everything. So, going and moving the stuff out of this room and putting the other stuff in this room, rearranging stuff around, I could not find her for about a good 2 hours, and that always worries me because little Isabella is my little buddy, and she finally made her way out. She kind of was in the kitchen and she was turning around the corner and all that stuff, kind of looking around and seeing what's going on. And then she went in here, made her way around. Didn't you? Yeah, we're talking about you. So she was making her way around, making sure that everything was, okay and all that stuff. And now she doesn't seem to mind it a couple hours later. So, so that's good. She's still around scoping things out. I still got a lot of cleaning to do that I'll probably be working on tomorrow because I've had to. I spent so much time putting this thing together, as a matter of fact. Upon putting this together, I think I spent about a good 3 hours or 4 hours putting this thing together. For a little while, I thought that I ended up, getting this oh, what's the name of that place? IKEA. But no, it was a mainstay. Um, I need to get a softer mattress on this thing, however. But, yeah, that was heck to put together. And then moving out the bed and all that stuff, and going to be using this as my own bed as well. So I got my studio and my bedroom all in the same spot, and I'm actually surprised I was able to do this, to be perfectly honest. And waiting for some paint to come in, and gonna go and do some painting and all that good stuff. So yeah, and it's nice being able to have my Zoom G11 right here on the floor next to me. I can, go and hook up my pedals to that and all that stuff. And over here to this side, I got many of my Jewish books, very deep Jewish stuff. For those of you who don't know anything about Judaism, we got like over here near the top. You probably see my Torah scroll. I got a little mini Torah scroll over there that I pull out whenever I'm reading the Torah portions. It's all in Hebrew. And, that's the way that I go and study the weekly readings. For those of you who don't know, the Torah is also known as the Pentateuch. And so I go and I unravel that scroll, and I start reading and studying from that. I'll go and read the Torah portion, which is usually about 3 chapters every week. I'll read that twice, and then I will pull out something else known as the Targums. And do I have my Targums are on that shelf? The Targums, what the Targums are, is an Aramaic translation of the Hebrew from the 2nd century BCE. The thing that is really cool about the Targums is that the Targums incorporate rabbinic commentary. So, in all honesty, many of your Christian translations today are not translated from the Targums. They are translated from the Masoretic text, which is within that scroll over there. Um, and but however, the way that it goes about being translated is indeed from kind of influenced by the Targums, which is a good thing, because the Targums kind of help to explain what the verses mean and all that stuff based upon just centuries old stuff, thousands of years, around 200 years before it is that Yeshua or Jesus was born. So, I always read the Targums twice, and then I read it in the English once. So I got my scroll over there. I don't know if you guys can see the top, but up there I got some of my First Fruits of Zion books, and then I got the complete set of the Talmud. Now, what exactly is the Talmud for those who don't know? The Talmud, what that is in Deuteronomy, as well as in the book of Leviticus, it talks about the Sanhedrin going and making rulings. And they just didn't make rulings upon, like a court system if a person's innocent or guilty. They also gave rulings on when there's a commandment on something. The question is, well, how do I go about doing that? Such as, if you look at the 10 Commandments, it says to keep the Shabbos holy. Well, somebody's going to have a question and say, how exactly do we do that? So God instituted the Sanhedrin, and what the Sanhedrin does, in fact, in Deuteronomy, it says, do what the Sanhedrin says of the penalty of death. What happens is they had later written all those things down, all of those rulings, and that is what is within the Mishnah section of the Talmud, which is usually in either all caps or it's in bold print, depending upon the edition that you have. I have the Hendrickson edition. At some point, I plan on getting the art scroll, which is super nice. But it has that, but then it has a section in there known as Gemara. Now, what Gemara is it helps to explain the Mishnah by usually using a parable or a story or something like that to help understand those things. So I do a lot of study in the Talmud. This over here is another 22 set of books known as the Zohar. For those of you who don't know what the Zohar is, the Zohar is something that I tell my Christian brethren do not touch. Do not pay attention to the Zohar. Do not seek after it. Do not read it because, in all honesty, you have to be 40 years, according to the sages of old, within your walk within the Torah in order to be able to properly understand the Zohar. Luckily for me, I was able to study it a little bit early. You have to apply 32 rules to go and understand it. The Zohar is written on the hermeneutic level of the book of Revelation, the book of Zechariah, many other books within the Bible. The book of John, as a matter of fact, is written on the same level of hermeneutic known as the Sod, which you need to apply 32 rules that deal with the 22 letters of the Hebrew Aleph base as well as the Sephirot. And so with that, there's kind of a word that it which is what it is, but a lot of people really don't understand this premise because they've heard about Madonna and her practicing what is called Kabbalah. The Zohar is Kabbalah. It's kosher Jewish Kabbalah, and Kabbalah means to receive. And basically, what the Zohar is you go through the Torah portion within the Zohar, and the Zohar goes and takes everything and breaks it down letter by letter into this deep study that when applying 32 rules, your head just wants to explode. Is the best way to see the Zohar and anything that is written on the hermeneutic level of Kabbalah. So I have the entire Zohar over here. And then over here I got Chavot Lahavot, Duties of the Heart by Rabbeinu Bachya, Kosher Jesus by Shmuley Boteach, The New Perspective on Paul. I get a lot of books from different a bunch of different Jewish publishers, as well as one of my favorite ones that actually believes that Yeshua is the Messiah, which is First Fruits of Zion. I get a lot of their stuff, and they put out some outstanding stuff. I love First Fruits of Zion, get a lot of their stuff, and they often reference the Talmud, and they'll reference the Zohar and all that stuff. And then I have between these two bookshelves, I think I have like 16 Bibles. Some of them are study Bibles, some of them are translated and are interlinear from many various base texts and all that stuff. So, I always joke that, you see my guitars behind me, but if anybody were to ever break into my apartment, the most valuable thing would probably be my bookshelf. So yeah, that's one of the cool things of being able to have all of this in the same spot, which makes everything a lot easier for me. Especially when doing stuff in the studio, having all my guitars in here, as opposed to having to go and take them one by one in there and all that stuff. So I got all that in there. I got one of my amps set up over here. I think my Spark is still in the box in the closet, but I got my PV Viper VIP2. I got my usual desks that I had in the studio in here, or in the old studio. I have that in there. Got my um, Zoom Live Track L8 over here. Got my MacBook Pro. The camera that we use in here is actually my iPhone 13, and I use a program called Camo, which allows me to use my iPhone as a webcam. And so I got all that over there. Here on the floor, I got my Zoom G11 and my Focusrite Scarlett. And the Focusrite Scarlett doesn't have anything going into it, but with the Focusrite, it does allow me to hear everything that is coming through the computer, able to help me hear the guitars and all that stuff. I tried to go on wireless with this, so I didn't have to use the Focusrite, but there's a bit of a delay that was just a little bit too much here. Hey, let's see. We got a question here from Romeo Oscar. Romeo Oscar says, "Hello, first time here. I've actually been um, inuding myself in the Jewish religion videos. Go, that's cool. Just to have an open mind and expand my understanding. Good stuff. What guitar is that? It looks good. Oh, the one that I got right here. That is so cool that you're looking into Jewish stuff. And I gotta ask, are you a subscriber to the Guitar Rabbi channel or the Ani Judaism channel? Okay, because those are my two channels, and I'm sending this to both right now, as a matter of fact, and hopefully everything's coming through nice and clear. This guitar actually, I'll tell you how I ended up getting this. First of all, there's a little bit of a story behind it. I've always loved semi-hollow guitars. Okay, and the most famous semi-hollow guitar is the 335 made by Gibson. And so what I did last year, no, earlier this year, back in February, I want to say, I ordered myself a Harley Benton HB 35 Plus, and I got it for like $270, somewhere around there. Harley Benton makes some great stuff. In fact, I'm gonna have a Harley Benton that I'm ordering next week that I'm gonna be reviewing. That is super cool. Super cool. It's not, and it's one that people haven't reviewed. So that'll be on the Guitar Rabbi channel. But anyway, I had that guitar, loved it because I love jazz and I want to learn jazz. You got to have a good semi-hollow for that. Well, what ended up happening is that one, the pickup selector, which let me get rid of your comment for just a second there so you could see. You notice that this one's down here. It's right next to the F hole. Okay. Well, with the Harley Benton, it was up here and pretty far away from the F hole. And with these type of guitars, there is no back plates or anything. So what happened was, I'm a type 1 diabetic and I had a low blood sugar, and I have this guitar stand that you can't see, but it's over here. And I got out of bed, lights were off. I tripped over the guitar stand, and the guitar fell off the stand like this. Okay. And when it fell like that, what ended up happening is it pushed in the foot switch, or not the foot switch, but the pickup selector switch. And there was no way to fix it. So what I ended up doing is I gave the Harley Benton HB 35 Plus to my buddy Tony Lee Glenn, who has a guitar YouTube channel. He also does a lot of stuff around North Carolina as well. Tony's a dear friend of mine, and anyway, I gave him that, and I went on to a website called btcustomshop.com. Now, what that website is they make or they order Chipsons, okay, which are copies of Gibson guitars made in China. And so I needed another semi-hollow, and I wanted to try this guy's version of the 335 that he had over there. Notice it doesn't say Gibson on the headstock. I may get some vinyl to put on there. Actually, I have ordered some. It just hadn't come in yet. But yeah, that'll go on there. But it's a fake. It's a fake Gibson 335, and I think I got this for like $325. And I wanted to compare it to the Harley Benton before I gave it away. And I actually got to say, I like the pickups in this one better, even though they're cheap Chinese pickups. I think they're slightly better than the Roswells that are within the Harley Benton guitars. And yeah, so if that ever happens again, my pickup selector's down here, so I can easily access it through the F hole to fix it. So yeah, that's the story. It's a fake Gibson 335 from China. Yep. Let's see here. Oh, I see Daniel is here. Daniel has arrived. Daniel, what do you think of the new studio there, brother? It's always good to hear what Daniel says, because Daniel doesn't like anything. Let's see here. Did Tony ever get the HB repaired? I don't know. I have no clue. Send him a message on one of his videos and find out. He is going to possibly be on the show this Sunday. I sent him a message, and we're going to talk about strats, as a matter of fact. And I got my fake strat, my fake Fender Strat over here, my tobacco burst. I got a real Fender over here with the Eddie Van Halen Fender. But yeah, we're gonna have to ask him that on Sunday if he comes on. So or you can ask him. But yeah, a good question. I've been wondering that myself. Let's see here. Daniel says, "That's why I have a 333. It has a backplate access." Oh, I didn't know the 333s have a backplate access. Is it for a reason because do they have the springs back there and all that stuff? Does it have a different bridge system, or is it because it does have active pickups? What's the reason for having the backplate within that one? I'm kind of curious. Romeo says, "I'm a subscriber to the Guitar Rabbi channel." Okay, cool. I too love semi hollows, but brother, this channel is right up my alley. I'm just looking at a chips and a mod. If it plays good, then it is good. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know what? I get these from a guy in the United States, Romeo. If you are in the United States, and a matter of fact, he's having a sale right now. He says he's having a Black Friday sale, but yeah, it's earlier than Black Friday right now. But go to BT, like almost like BitTorrent, BT customshop.com. Go, and I think I put the link to his website and some of my chips and reviews, as a matter of fact. Go over there and check that out. And he's got some that he's selling for as low as like 130. I think they're some of the strats and all that stuff he's doing for that. And yeah, everything I've gotten from him has been great. But yeah, you say you're learning about Judaism. Check out Ani Judaism, the YouTube channel there, or go to my website, anijudaism.com. And, you can learn some more about Judaism there. And I always tie the New Testament, to the deep teachings of Judaism. So it's a really cool thing. Let's see here. Daniel says, like the new digs, except for the ugly guy on the couch. I don't think I can argue with you there. Daniel, I had to go to the doctor yesterday. I'm got to go to the endocrinologist every 3 or 4 months or so because I'm a type 1 diabetic, and they had just put made me start using this thing. I don't know if you guys can see it there. Let me move the mic. Okay, you see this little thing? That right there, what that is something called a Dexcom. It checks my blood sugar every 5 minutes or so and all that stuff. And I've really seen what my blood sugars have been doing. I've been a diabetic since I was 7 years old, so for about 34 years now. And anyway, it's something to get used to. But the first thing they do when you go over there is they go and they weigh you and all that stuff. And I've always been about the three, or I'm sorry, not three, the 150 to 140 to 150 range. I walk in there and I was like 172, and I was like, oh man, that was not it. That was sad to see, and man, I can't wait to get back to the gym and start getting rid of some of this excess stuff. So yeah, I gotta say, yep, the ugly guy on the couch. I can concur with that. Oh crap, a Tony stream again. One question, 4 hours of Tony rap. Like, oh goodness, don't give Tony a hard time. Give me the call-in number. I'm in a hotel board. I don't have that set up right now, Daniel. That would be cool to have you on, but so we'll make a point to get you on very soon because I know how you are whenever you don't get invited on streams. So we're gonna do everything we can to not make you upset here. And I think Isabella is starting to like the new digs now, so that's really good. That's really good. All right. Any questions about any of the guitar gear that you heard me mention that we use, or anything about Judaism, any of those things. I'm just here to kind of show off the studio and to go and answer you guys' questions. To go and touch Indians, and all that stuff. By the way, guys, one of the things, I'll take a quick break while you guys get your questions and statements and all that stuff about how horrible my playing is and all that stuff. And while I take that break, I'm going to play you guys a track that is my Jam of the Month track for this month. Some of you guys have seen it. Some of you guys have not. I see some questions are coming in. I will get to those questions after we go and run this. But make sure to check out, guys, my Jam of the Month is a cover of Last Train Home by John Mayer, and you guys can go and add your own twist to it, add your own lead track, add some vocals to it, whatever it is that you want. Go and find that video and get the download and all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run that real quick so you guys could check that out, and anybody can go and do the stream of the month, and we're going to do a mega mix at the end. That's going to be really cool. All right, check this out. I'll be right back. All right. So we got a question from Daniel here. He wants to know what the pedal setup looks like in the studio. There'll be more to it, but right now I'm just using my Zoom G11 right now. I love this thing. It's it's a great investment. I love the Zoom G11, and so currently that's what it is. In my box over here, I got I got my Klon Centaur clones and my um also my I got a lot of overdrive pedals. I also got a noise gate in there. Um, I got my Ernie Ball overdrive expression pedal. You guys have seen me use. Got that in there. I got a something I was using with the what is that? The Spark before they added an EQ pedal. I ended up getting a cheap Donner or Rowan EQ pedal that is over there. So those might may make an appearance every now and then. I don't know. The one that I tend to use most is the Silver clone, which is actually what I used on the track for the Jam of the Month, and I love the sound of that thing. So right now it's just the Zoom G11. The nice thing about that is that I could put an amp in there, a cab, and all that stuff, and also 9 other pedals. So it's one of those things that makes it easy, very lightweight, and it sounds really good, I think. Let's see here. Brian says, um, where did you get the drum track? I actually ended up going and buying a drum track from a place that I get them from. I've gotten them from previously for practice. I forget the name of the website. I'll have to look. But I ended up getting the drum track and just kind of going and taking it from there. And the drum track was exact because I could go in because I was curious. So I ended up going and taking the original track and aligning it with the drum track, and it was dead on. So I think the person who made the drum track was also listening to the actual song itself at the same time. Daniel says I might get a Helix. You know what? I've been hearing great things about the Helix. The Helix and the Zoom G11 are kind of competitors to each other, and so is the Quad Cortex. Now, from what I understand, the Quad Cortex is the best that is out there right now. The thing that is neat with that um that it can do that I don't believe the Helix can do, and I know that the Zoom G11 can't do, is that it will go and take a pedal that you put in there and it will clone that pedal. And so you could save, like if you borrow like a real Klon Centaur from somebody, you can actually save an emulation of that pedal into the Quad Cortex, which is just not mind blowing. You can also do that with different amps as well, and that's just crazy. But the Helix, I think, has slightly better modulation than the Zoom G11, but the Zoom G11 is easier to use. Um, and I think the Helix is about 2 times the price of the G11. So, for me, the G11 works out great. Um, yeah, I'd love to have a Helix though, but to play around with, but for simplicity purpose and for the sake of my budget, the G11 does pretty good. Daniel says, "Did you ever send me my pedal?" Yes, I sent it out. I was a little bit late on sending it out. I sent it out about a week and a half ago. So if you haven't received it yet, you should have it very soon. Uh, gets drum gets drum tracks from his guy in front of the Blockbusters. Yeah, yeah. There's a guy out there in a big trench coat that goes and says, "Hey, psst, psst, hey kid, come here. I got some drum tracks for you." I want to run 2 amp tones at the same time. I really don't care about pedals too much. I just like to get the tones, and all that stuff. I like to emulate and also come up with my own. So for me, a multi effects unit works out really well. So I get that. Now I don't understand running 2 amp tones at the same thing. I've heard other people talk about that. It's something I've never done. I've never quite understood why a person would want to do that, but obviously there are people who want to do that and are doing that. So I guess I'm kind of curious, what's the reason for 2 amp tones? Um Do you have a dream guitar, a dream amp? Oh, man, that's a tough one. And the reason why that's a tough one is because of the fact you can see I have all these guitars behind me here. I have 5 in my collection, and number 6 is gonna be coming in about 2 weeks. Okay. Each of my guitars have a different function, you know. Um I This used to be my dream guitar. Um Probably about 25 years ago. Back then they were made by Peavey. Okay. Now Fender makes them. And it's interesting because I learned a lesson with that guitar. I still love that guitar. I use it often when I'm doing other people's jam tracks and stuff like that because, I always have kind of an 80s sound. So with that 80s sound, I love to go crazy on the whammy. Um, and so, having a Floyd Rose, that makes it really easy. But this was my dream guitar for years, uh, over 25 years. And I gave up the guitar for about a good 14 to 15 years and picked it back up back in January. And during that time, January of this year, as a matter of fact, and after receiving that guitar, and it's interesting because for the longest time that was my dream guitar, and I realized that every guitar has a function, a purpose, and it's not going to be the thing that turns you into the best player ever. Um, Different guitars will inspire you to do different things, and you learn really quickly that different guitars have a different function. I really cannot say that I have a dream guitar. I would say, however, that my Chipsons that I have, which I have 3. I got the Slash, Appetite for Destruction, Les Paul over here. Got the 335 right here, and then believe that one's actually called a Chender, the fake Chinese Stratocaster. Um, real ones of those would be nice, but, the thing is, I can't say that any of those would really be my dream guitar. In terms of amps, there's 2 amps that I really gravitate towards. When I was younger, it was all about Eddie Van Halen, so it would have been the 5150. But now that I've gotten older and I found, in today's time, you're able to look at YouTube and see, the different functionings of different amps, what it is best to play with this and that, and, what makes each amp different, and you're able to, go and rewind and all that stuff and really get a good idea of what each of these things sound like. And so for me, the 2 that I've always really liked are the, JCM 800, okay, and the Fender Twin Reverb. 2 totally different amps, one's a British amp, the other one's an American amp. Um, Something with like a Strat, I would end up going and, playing on the Fender, Twin Reverb, and something like, a Les Paul, I would end up going and playing on the Marshall JCM 800, and that's just me personally. I haven't really played around with Soldanos, but I've heard amazing things about them. I think, and this is why I like my G11, the modulation of each of these amps, because it kind of says, oh, I really like that, with this guitar for this tone, and all that stuff. So it really depends. I'm not a person that has really found their own sound. I'm still trying to find it. And that's a fun process to be on. So, it's something that I really can't say I have a dream guitar, dream amp, because I'm still trying to find what my sound is, and that's just me. Let's see here. Daniel says Chris's favorite is the 1969 chips in gold tooth. Actually, you're talking that's a joke on the gold top and all that stuff. I'm actually planning at some point of getting the Harley Benton gold top with the P90s because I've never played a guitar with P90s, and everybody raves about the gold top with P90s. He will buy it for 1999.99 on eBay. 2000 party over, it's out of time. Uh, Sounds like you have collector's disease like the rest of us. I think, to some respects, I do, but the thing is that um, I see a lot of people collect for the sake of collecting, and I did a joke about. I think the name of the video was this little short video says the spark made me do it, because I always see people go to say, "Well, the spark made me buy this, babe." I'm like, and it's crazy because the next thing they do is they're like, "How do I play a G chord?" And so but for me, it's one of those things that, like, again, I'm trying to find my own tone, and I used to I used to not gravitate towards strats. But now that I've found myself playing some blues stuff, and this has been a part of the journey, I've been playing a lot of blues stuff, and it's like, okay, I need that quack sound. I need that slap of a Stratocaster with the 2 and the 4 position. And so, I ended up getting a Strat because of that, and I use that sucker pretty often. All of these, get good playtime. As a matter of fact, none of them are just there for looks or just simply to be collected. I'm actually using all of them, in a lot of the stuff I do. So, it's a little bit of everything. The P90s would be awesome for sure. Yeah, I've never played one with the P90s, and I love single cut guitars. I absolutely love single cut guitars. So, it's one of those things. I like the nice low end that is within those, and everybody that plays P90s has said, "Oh man, there's nothing like playing a P90." It's like I want to experience that. I want to figure out what that's about, So, I don't buy one guitar for its tone. I had the same amp for 20 years. I don't get new guitars. I'm in my area, and I don't get gear unless to replace something. Of course, and the thing is, I'll tell you, you'll get characteristics mainly from different guitars, but in terms of overall tone, a majority of your tone is actually going to come from your amp. You're going to get certain characteristics from the guitars, like I'm not going to be able to get that quack sound out of the Les Paul. If I need that, or this one, because it's funny, when I was playing my jam of the month, I was trying to play along with it. And the thing is, I was listening for that quack. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not playing that one. I got to be playing that one in order to get that quacky sound. And so, all of mine serve a particular function. Let's see here. P90s are nice and gainy, very nice single coil. I think of guitars exactly like tools. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The problem is I like all the tools. I gotta say, I see a lot of people say that same thing, and I never gravitated towards a Telecaster. And everybody I know that has a Telecaster absolutely loves Telecasters. Me, I've never gravitated towards them. I don't know. And it might have been because when I was younger, and those things were at a little place in the area called the Music Center. I was like, why does that guitar look like a box? You never understood it. And then, I didn't listen to country music, but if I saw a country artist play, it's like, oh, that's for those guys. Okay. And so I don't know. It could be a subconscious thing for me because, now that I'm older, I'm like, wait a minute, Prince played a Telecaster, and I love Prince, but I don't know. I just don't gravitate towards Telecasters. Not to say the Telecasters are bad. I just never gravitated toward them. That's just me personally. Everybody's different. We're all different, so that's one of those things. Let's see here. You get some great blues tones from P90s. Yeah. And there's a different type of blues tone that you get with a single cut guitar than you would with a Strat. So, it's one of those things that, there's all these little things, and I'm trying to find who I am. You know, that's just me. All right. Any other questions, comments, criticisms? By the way, is the video coming out okay through here? No glitches or anything like that? Because I'm further away in this studio from my router than I am from the room that used to be my studio and all that stuff. And so I don't know if there's any glitches or anything like that. And it's something that I'll look back on this video and see. Um, Romeo says, "I love my telly. I'm not a Strat guy. I actually just put a third pickup into my telly to make it a Nashville Telecaster, very close to a Stray." Okay. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people doing with the 3 pickups and the Telecasters. I'm seeing, Telecasters now with humbuckers in them as opposed to the lipstick pickups and all that stuff. Very cool stuff, And again, it's one of those things that everybody, has what it is they gravitate towards. Doesn't mean it's bad. Absolutely not. Prince, an amazing player, played a Telecaster. Many great players played a Telecaster. For me to go and say, like some people do that are all about brand loyalty or style loyalty, they'll be like, that person, sucks. Those kind of guitars suck and all that stuff. It's like, nope, that's not the case. Let's see here. Video is good. The only criticism I have is when you play the guitar, the mic volume go. Oh yeah, yep, that is one of the problems because I totally forgot to turn off the noise reduction on there. And that's something I always tell myself to do whenever it is I'm playing guitar on a stream and all that stuff is to turn off the noise reduction on StreamYard. And I did not do that this time. So, yep, that is a problem. And Romeo picked up on it, and it's one of those things I always beat myself up on whenever it is I don't go and do that. But yeah, all right. Well, guys, I need to get myself some rest. Actually, with this time change, I'm telling you, it's been tough for me to to go to bed at a later time. With this time change. And so, it's one of those things I find myself going to bed at 9 o'clock, which is great considering I have to get up early in the morning for work every day and all that stuff. In fact, I think we got 9 dogs tomorrow. Sweetheart, if you're watching, then let me know. By the way, guys, speaking of Amy, tomorrow is her birthday, by the way. I gave her all of her birthday presents today, and I gave her a couple weeks ago and all that stuff. And guys, one of the things before we get done here today, if I can get you guys just go and wish Amy a happy birthday, that will be awesome. I'll go and cut this part of the video and send it to her in the morning. And so she knows that a lot of you guys are thinking about her because, I mean, heck, she's the most important person in my life. So everybody go and wish Amy a happy birthday and all that good stuff, if you don't mind. Take care, brother. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate you as well, Brian. Good night, everyone. Happy early birthday to Amy. Yeah, happy birthday to her tomorrow. What is this? What is this? Feliz yeah, what the heck? Oh my goodness, Romeo speaking in tongues over here. My goodness, brother. I don't get the cut of the jib. Now, if it was in Hebrew or Aramaic, I would get the cut of the jib. I don't get that one. What is that, Spanish? All right. Well, thank you guys for wishing Amy a happy birthday. And guys, I will see you guys possibly Sunday if I get a hold of Tony and all that stuff. And if he wants to come on and talk strats, we will go and do that. It's happy birthday in Spanish, brother. Good channel. I'll be back. Well, thank you very much, Romeo. God bless you, brother. And again, you said you wanted to learn a little bit of the Jewish stuff. Check out my other channel, Ani Judaism, which is ANI than Judaism. Some people say it's anti-Judaism, and I love it when I go in to people's chats and they're like, "Oh yeah, anti-Judaism." No, it's ani-Judaism, and it is in relation to a title of the Messiah, which is Anihu, Anochi, or in Aramaic, it's Inanna, or Eye Asher Eye, which all those mean. It means I am. It's a divinic title of the Messiah, showing the Messiah's divinity. So go and check out Ani Judaism, ANI Judaism on YouTube. You can also go and check out the website anijudaism.com. I got all my radio archives over there of all my Jewish teachings, over like 2,000 or so. So, go and check that out. We're also on Apple Podcasts as well. If you have an iPhone, you got Apple Podcasts. All right. And actually, Amy might, start doing a show with me soon. I'm super looking forward to that. So, good night, guys. Shalom brocha. Peace and a blessing. Shalom.